Good morning. We start with the latest on the inspirational Deborah James and the cancer research fund she set up just a couple of days ago because it has raised now over £2 million. The 40-year-old mother who presents US intelligence chiefs say Vladimir Putin's preparing for a long war in Ukraine, and even victory in the east may not bring an end to the conflict. They believe the Russian president is counting on Western support for Ukraine weakening as inflation, food shortages and energy prices worsen. Meanwhile, fuel supply problems in Ukraine itself are hampering the delivery of aid, and these fuel shortages are going to make day-to-day life even harder. Well, meanwhile, Boris Johnson will visit Sweden and Finland in the next 24 hours to discuss the war in Ukraine. It comes as both countries consider whether to apply for NATO membership. Number 10 says the talks will focus on the wider security of Europe. Meanwhile, British troops are taking part in joint NATO exercises with the US forces in North Macedonia. Russia's aggression will spur others on to follow. New figures given exclusively to this programme by the NSPCC reveal how abuse cases involving children increased during lockdown. The charity says referrals to children's services about the behaviour of parents went up by almost a third, as Liz Summers reports. Some sports news now. Liverpool kept up the pressure on Premier League leaders Manchester City after... Now, could it be you? One UK ticket holders won the Euro Millions jackpot. It's a staggering £184 million. Everyone's looking behind the sofa, checking their tickets. But what a crazy amount of money, £184 million.
Do you think
that's too much, surely?
Do you think if those
too much?
You'd give most of it back.
You could split that between a lot of people. You can make a lot of people happy with that money.
But if you'd won it last night, do you think you'd have slept? Do you think anyone, the person who's won this, do you think they'd have had a
You'd
wink
be out
of sleep?
celebrating, wouldn't you?
Listen, I asked at the top of the show if we thought the crown that we saw there, the Lords yesterday, would be worth more or less than 184.
Priceless, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say,
that is the correct
crown.
answer. It is priceless. But if you did have to put a figure on it, I'm right with you.
Anyway, you'd give it back, wouldn't you, for me? Charlotte, thanks very much.
Good morning. More than £2 million has now been donated to a cancer... Oh, there we go. It does kind of feel like an end of an era, doesn't it? It's in one place that you could carry around with you.
How long ago was it? Like 20 years? Yeah, my God. Yeah, you're right, end of an era.
Good morning. Yes, the amount of money being donated to Deborah James's cancer research fund that she set up just a couple of days ago continues to increase. The latest total is now more than £2.2 million. The 40-year-old US intelligence chiefs say Vladimir Putin is preparing for a long war in Ukraine, and even victory in the east may not bring an end to the conflict. They believe the Russian president's counting on Western support for Ukraine weakening as inflation, food shortages and energy prices worsen. Well, meanwhile, fuel supply problems in Ukraine itself are hampering the delivery of aid. They're just going to make it worse. Well, meanwhile, Boris Johnson will visit Sweden and Finland in the next 24 hours to discuss the war in Ukraine. It comes as both countries consider whether to apply for NATO membership. Number 10 says the talks will focus on the wider security of Europe. Meanwhile, British troops are taking part in a joint NATO exercise with US forces in North Macedonia. Hopes Russia aggression, no doubt, will spur others on to follow suit. Now in sports news, Liverpool kept up the pressure on Premier League leaders Manchester City after coming from behind to beat Now, after more than 20 years on the market, Apple has killed off its iconic music player, the iPod. The final version of the device, the iPod Touch, will continue to be sold until supplies run out. Nick Dixon said it transformed the way we all listen to music. Now, could it be you? One UK ticket holder has won the Euro Millions jackpot. It's a staggering £184 million. Let us know how you're spending the money. I've got one here, actually. Someone's got in touch to say the winner of the Euro Millions £184 million prize will be able to pay for as much as 2 years' energy bills.
Wow.
There you go.
I was right about the 10 pence there, wasn't I?
Yes, it's 1